I 31M told my girlfriend 30F that she is not a trophy wife or status symbol and that we are similar in attractiveness. She views it as me calling her old and ugly. /r/all. A bit of background: my girlfriend and I are 30 and 31 respectively. We have been dating for about a year. I work as a high-level engineer at a good firm and my girlfriend works as a payroll specialist at a good firm too. I make significantly more than her, 3x. Things were good in our relationship until I showed her my retirement/savings. She now doesn't see the point of working and has started framing our relationship in that she is the beautiful one and that I am the nerdy engineer that was lucky to have her. Before, when we met, she was all about making it her own way, eventually starting her own company with her sister in sourcing and recruiting. But now she jokes about driving a Range Rover and wearing Lululemon and going to yoga. We were having a discussion again about this trophy wife stuff. She brought up that I was nerdy back in the day while she was very popular. I told her she is not a trophy wife, that yes, she is attractive but it's not a huge difference between us. I told her had it been the case that I met her when she was 22 and I was my current age, then sure, but she isn't 22 anymore. After I said that, she just started crying like crazy. She started saying that I think of her as ugly and used up that her best years are behind her. She just told me that if I am not happy to be with her, why am I even here? To stop wasting her time. I tried to talk to her but she was in no state for a conversation. I don't know what to say, guys. For me, I just wanted to say that I think we are of similar attractiveness. Like, I don't think anyone when they see us turns their head and is like, oh, she is with him the cause of money. Or damn, he is so lucky to be with her. I think it's mutual. She was the one that if anything went after my attractiveness first. What should I do? I like the fact that we both work and I don't want to change that dynamic. And I don't want her to think too that she is above me, that I am so lucky to have her. I want her to think of us as equals, and in my attempt to do that I hurt her feelings. What's the next move? TLDR, ever since my girlfriend found out about my savings, she has more often entertained the idea of being a stay-at-home wife. She has tried to bring up the fact that she was more attractive than me as justification why I am so lucky to be with her and why I should accept this. Move on to the comment. This seems to be a very textbook case of psychological projection. Because of your discrepancy in salary, she likely feels like she is worth less than you. She likely feels like her best years are behind her, seeing as you took off and are only going up. Her poking around about her being a trophy wife is her seeking validation that she is not worthless and that you still value her, and her financial contributions are nothing to be ashamed of. I don't think she is a gold digger. I think she is taking some hits on her self-esteem, through no fault of yours/her own. I think some counseling would go a long way here. Edit. Thank you all for your awards and replies. I appreciate the recognition, smiley face. There is a lot to unpack for both the op and his girlfriend in this situation, but the point is that is worth unpacking. Cheers. Finally, an actual reasonable response. This sub is so fucked. We have a good relationship but having this issue that just sprung up. Any ideas? Run. Leave her. Never look back. Like, holy fuck, you'd think she killed his dog or something. It's not a great situation but she's obviously hurt/took a hit to her self-esteem, and any reasonable person would say it's worth talking about, maybe getting counseling over if needed, and growing from it. This is basically comments on every post in this sub. People forget that this is about a real person's life, not some TV show. I'm sure that if any of these posts about them, they wouldn't have the same opinion. Even if it were their partner that they loved. In reality, you do what you can to make it work, and a small roadblock like this can be worked out through communication and empathy. The girl clearly just feels inadequate. She didn't know about the money before. Now she just needs assurance that she's valuable and that she has a future with him. Exactly. It's incredibly obvious why she responded how she did. Doesn't make it okay, but it isn't really a bizarre response and allows for a discussion around it. I swear there should be flair here to say age and current relationship length lol. To both you and me it's super obvious, but maybe those saying break up don't have the empathy or analysis skills to see why his girlfriend acted irrationally. To see so many people upvoting those comments, too, is just sad. People need to take a different stance and attempt to be impartial. I can't even imagine the number of times the sub has been used to gaslight somebody into thinking they've done something wrong, by the abuser showing their partner the responses to the post they made. Definitely need a flair. Wonder how many people here are under 18 or have never been in a relationship. So many bitter cunts in the sub who just want a hand in ending relationships, it seems. She's probably pissed about the maybe if I was my current age and you were 22, but you're not 22 anymore comment. My girlfriend would be furious if I said that. Only reasonable response in the thread. There are also two separate issues, the money thing, and Op saying she's not a trophy wife. These are two separate items for discussion and Op is trying to use the first to justify the second. The two should only be combined if the end goal is relationship turmoil, otherwise each issue should be dealt with separately. This is so spot on. I think Op approaching this with "I've always thought of us as equals" was a good way to approach until he hit her with the "you're no spring chicken" line. He basically insinuated that her cachet is fading with her age, even basically saying she was a trophy in her youth, which is not something women can help and already plays into our biggest fears, that men just get better with age and can always find someone younger, hotter, etc., while women become less visible and fuckable as they get older. I agree with this. And honestly, I'm not sure I could be with someone who says I don't want her to think I'm so lucky to be with her. Maybe it's just me, but I think that my BF is lucky to be with me and vice versa. It's part of positive self-confidence in my experience. One of the sweetest things I hear is "I'm so lucky to be with you" / "that I found you," etc. I get others have different love language, but that was weird for me to read. The sentiment isn't just about looks, either. This is the only way a relationship works. Op says he wants them to be equal, what he should be saying is that they ought to be equally lucky to have each other. Yeah, this is kinda shitty, but I think Op was feeling similarly devalued by her implying that he's not attractive, with the whole trophy wife thing. Not the right thing to say, but that sentiment might be worth bringing up when they talk about it. I think the difference is that the perception is that the phrase "he's lucky to be with me" means you're doing him a favor of some kind by dating down, and could easily be meant negatively in that way by someone who has issues with their self-esteem. Yet, I love when men say "I'm so lucky I found you. You're amazing, I don't deserve you," but not in a super dramatic way. Every dude in this room is jealous they don't have you, etc., etc., etc. Just super hyping their partner up and putting them up in a selfless way. Of course no partner should be more important than the other, but I think compliments where you put yourself to the side and really treat your partner like a king/queen is super sweet. Maybe the equal aspect can be taken a little too seriously. I think it can get in the way because it can prevent you from complimenting your partner in a way that you, yourself, wouldn't compliment yourself. Or maybe you could get worried about inflating your partner's ego/confidence. Which, wouldn't you want your partner to feel super special and confident in the relationship? This goes both ways. You also need to put yourself to the side and make your partner feel special and cherished. If you're both selflessly serving and hyping up each other, that is great. If it is one-sided like in Op's case, one side will usually get hurt. Op's GF is acting like she is doing him a favor by being with him, since she is drop-dead gorgeous and he's just a nerdy ogre that needs money to get someone like her. I would not stand for that kind of an attitude. It's unhealthy for both parties. I mean, you don't want your partner to feel like he's beneath you, do you? This goes both ways. You also need to put yourself to the side and make your partner feel special and cherished. If you're both selflessly serving and hyping up each other, that is great. If it is one-sided like in Op's case, one side will usually get hurt. Ops GF is acting like she is doing him a favor by being with him, since she is drop dead gorgeous and he's just a nerdy ogre that needs money to get someone like her. I would not stand for that kind of an attitude. It's unhealthy for both parties. I mean, you don't want your partner to feel like he's beneath you, do you? I also want to add that no wonder she said she felt used up and that her best years were behind her after Op essentially said you can't be a trophy because you're old now. I'm not surprised at all that she cried about that. Op gotta work on his communication skills. Exactly. Op essentially said, you were more attractive than me, but then you got old and you're not really anymore. And then he acts surprised that she's crying. Exactly. I was with Op up until he said you're not 22 anymore. There is this ridiculous idea that women expire somewhere between 25 to 27 and comments like this don't help. Otherwise, I agree he was right in saying that she isn't above him in the looks department and he isn't above her for making more money. She needs to come to terms with aging and moving into the next phase of life, and he needs to forget all that if you were 22 bullshit. Edit. Y'all, I get it. He didn't mean it that way. But that's the way it comes across. I think his girlfriend, and many women in their 30s, me, feel tremendous pressure, insecurity, self-doubt, and fear about getting older. What I, aesthetically, bring to the table, my body, and my beauty, may not look better than it does right now, and as the years go by, will he stay with me? Yeah, that comment about how she would be a trophy wife if she were still her 22-year-old self but not now really does sound like you're used up and your best years are behind you. I don't blame Op cause we all put our foot in our mouth sometimes, but if you're struggling with your self-worth, that's a hell of a gut punch. I've seen others point out that he meant that if he were in his 30s and she were 22 then people might mistake her for a trophy wife. But if that's what he meant, he should have explained that is what he meant or just thought of a better way to word it. As a woman, that is not how I took that remark, lol. Is not how I took that remark, lol. Is not how